You walk outside on a hot afternoon in June and your hydrangea is collapsed. Every leaf is hanging straight down. The whole plant looks like it is begging. And you are already reaching for the hose because you love this plant. Because this is what caring looks like. Because what else would you do? Stop. Right there. That wilt is not thirst. It has never been thirst. And the water you are about to give it right now, in that moment, may be the exact thing that tips this plant from struggling into something you cannot come back from. Here is the thing almost nobody tells you in time. A hydrangea in full summer heat that droops at 2 in the afternoon is doing something completely intentional. It is reducing its own leaf surface to slow down water loss. The plant is managing itself. It does not need you to intervene. And if you pour water onto waterlogged soil right now because the leaves told you to, you are not saving it. You are drowning roots that were already asking for air. That is mistake number 3, and it is the one that quietly kills the plant while you think you are helping. But before we get there, I need to walk you through what is actually going on here, because there are 4 other things happening in the average hydrangea garden in June that are working against the plant just as hard: placement, feeding, pruning, and what I call panic care. Each one feeling like the right thing, each one doing real damage. By the end of this, you will know which of these 5 mistakes is active in your garden right now, why it is happening at the biology level, and the specific fix, the timing, the method, the amount, not a vague tip, the actual answer. Mistake number 1 is where most of this starts, and it is about where you put the plant. Big leaf hydrangeas, the round mophead ones, the lacecaps, the beautiful summer blue ones that everyone wants, evolved in light woodland, dappled morning sun, protection from the hot west-facing afternoon light. When you put one of those in a spot that gets full sun from noon onwards, it is not just uncomfortable. The roots cannot move water to the leaves fast enough to keep up with what the leaves are losing to evaporation. The plant wilts. You water more. The soil becomes saturated. The roots begin to suffocate. And you spend the whole summer in a cycle that feels like the plant is always thirsty and never getting enough. It is not thirst. It is placement. Morning sun, afternoon shade. That is the rule. East-facing is almost always better than west-facing for big leaves, and if you are gardening in a genuinely hot climate, shade after 11 in the morning is not optional. Paniculatas are different. They can take full sun, they evolved for it, but they are not the plant most people are staring at when they wonder why their hydrangea will not cooperate. Brown, crispy leaf edges, afternoon collapse, flowers that bleach and fall apart. That is sun damage, and no amount of water corrects a placement problem. Mistake number 2 is the one that feels most like love. You want your hydrangeas to be healthy, so you feed them. A big scoop of a high nitrogen fertilizer in spring, a little more in June, maybe again in August. The plant responds exactly the way you hoped. Enormous dark green leaves, lush growth, a shrub that looks like it is thriving, and then it produces almost no flowers. Here is what happened. Nitrogen drives vegetative growth, leaves, stems, all of that beautiful green mass. The first number on any fertilizer bag is nitrogen. But what drives flowering is phosphorus, the middle number. When you flood a hydrangea with nitrogen, you are essentially telling it to grow a bigger body instead of making blooms. The fix is a balanced fertilizer with a higher middle number, or even just bone meal worked into the soil around the drip line once in early spring. And I cannot stress this enough, established hydrangeas, plants that have been in the ground more than 2 years, often do not need feeding at all. Rich mulch, healthy soil, correct placement. That is frequently enough. Restraint here is not neglect. Restraint is understanding what the plant is actually asking for. And that is just the feeding side of it. What happens when you prune is actually stranger. And the gap between the action and the consequence is what makes it so easy to miss. This is mistake number 3. Actually, let me correct myself. Mistake number 3 is the overwatering. Pruning is mistake number 4. And I want to do the watering properly because it is the one that causes the most permanent damage the fastest. If you have a quick second, this is actually a good spot. If you are finding this useful, subscribing is just the thing that tells YouTube to keep sending home plants hacks your way. One tap, and you get this every week. That is the whole pitch. Now, the watering. Root rot does not happen because you watered once too many times. It happens because the soil around the roots loses its air spaces. Healthy roots breathe oxygen. They pull it from the gaps between soil particles. When soil stays saturated, those air spaces fill with water and stay filled. The roots cannot get oxygen. They begin to die. Rotting roots cannot move water to the leaves. The leaves wilt. And then you water again because the leaves told you to. The diagnostic test is this. Push your finger 2 to 3 inches into the soil right at the base of the plant and feel it. If the soil is still cool and moist at that depth, do not water. Put the hose down and walk away. The 10-second test that tells afternoon wilt from root rot is time itself. Come back at dusk. If the plant has stood back up, it was managing its own heat. If it is still wilted after the temperature drops and the sun is off it, the roots are in trouble, and watering more is not the answer. Mistake number 4 is pruning at the wrong time, and it is the most heartbreaking one because the damage and the consequence are separated by 6 to 8 months. Big leaf hydrangeas bloom on old wood. The buds for this summer's flowers were sitting on those stems all winter, formed last August and September, waiting for June. If you cut those stems back in fall to tidy the garden up, to clear dead-looking canes, because it seemed like the responsible thing to do, you cut off every flower for the following summer and you did not know it. The plant leafed out beautifully in spring. It looked healthy. And then it sat there, full and green, and never bloomed. This is why. The fix from here, right now in June, is to leave every cane alone. Do not touch them. Any shaping you want to do on a big leaf happens immediately after flowering ends, within a month of the last bloom. That is the window where you can cut without costing yourself next year. Reblooming varieties like the endless summer types have a little more forgiveness. They bloom on both old and new wood, but even they do better when you understand the timing. Paniculatas and smooth hydrangeas are new wood bloomers, which means you can cut them in early spring and they will still flower. But if you have the classic big blue or pink one and it keeps giving you leaves and no blooms, look back at last fall. That is where June went. Mistake number 5 brings us right back to where we started. You are outside. The plant is drooping. Your hand is on the hose. And everything in you wants to help. Here is what you now know that you did not know at the beginning of this video. Afternoon wilt in summer heat is transpiration management, the plant narrowing its profile to protect itself the same way you squint in bright light. Evening recovery is the proof. If it stands back up by 7 or 8 o'clock, the plant was fine. What you can do right now that actually helps is mulch. 3 inches of organic mulch around the base. Pulled back just slightly from the stem, keeps the soil cool, holds moisture evenly, and prevents the boom and bust wet-dry cycle that stresses roots more than almost anything else. Water deeply and infrequently. 1 long, slow soak that reaches 8 to 10 inches down is worth 3 shallow ones. Deep watering trains roots downward towards stable moisture. Shallow watering keeps roots near the surface where soil dries fastest. And in a hot climate, water in the morning so the surface dries before the afternoon heat arrives. The 5 mistakes: placement, nitrogen, overwatering, wrong time pruning, and panic at the afternoon droop all come from the same root, if you will forgive the phrasing. They come from caring without quite knowing what the plant actually needs. And now you know. That wilting plant outside your window right now is not failing. It is talking, and you finally speak the language. Before you go, think of one person whose hydrangea never blooms or always seems to be struggling. Send them this video. Just the link. That is it. They will thank you come July.